In this lesson, I am going to cover reviewing radicals and polynomials. So, radicals. Directions are to simplify each expression and write all irrational answers in the simplest radical form. So we're not using decimals here. So, the first thing I do recommend is you take and try in your calculator to just square root or cube root whatever it's asking you to do the problem. That will tell you maybe it comes out even because the square root of 49 is 7. So we know that. But I want to show you, I want to factor tree each problem as we work through it. So the square root of 49, or the factors of 49, if I do a factor tree, is 7 times 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to put 7 times 7. The square root means I can take a pair out. So every pair of 7s I have, I can bring one pair out front. So 7. There's nothing left over. So the square root of 49 is 7. Again, using your calculator will work. This one here, we have the square root of 1, and you can separate them. The square root of 16. Square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 16 is 4. Right? Some of these will turn out even. Some of them will not. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do number 18. The 4 stays out front. It's being multiplied by the 384. We need to simplify the 384 first. So we need to make a factor tree of 384. Factor tree. 6. Factor tree goes all the way down to the prime numbers. So, in 64, factors of 6 are 2 and 3. And I'm going to circle those because I need those. Because right now I have 4 times factors of 64 are 8 times 8. Those are not. You could pull the 8s in there if you're comfortable with that. 2 and 4. 2 is prime. So right now I have 2 times 2. I have a times 3 out here. 2 times 2. 2 times 4. 2 times 2. Okay, so I have 1. Cross them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have a 3 here. Make sure you've got everything. So then what I would do is plug in your calculator to check 2 times 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 3. And you should get 384. And then what I was telling you here earlier, so if I have a pair, I can pull one out front. That's what square roots do. Okay, square meaning 2. So for every pair of 2s I have, I can pull one out front. Okay, so right now I have a 4 out front already, and I have a 2 times 2 times 2. And what's left over stays. So 2 times 3 will stay in here, that's 6. Now I do need to multiply these through. So 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So 32 square root of 6 is your final answer. Not the only way to do these problems, but it's the way that I suggest. Again, like 19, I would find all of the factors and then put them under 1 together and then pull out pairs. So let's go ahead and look at another one. Number 24. So 24 is adding. I have 1 square root of 10 here, 1 square root of 10 here. Square root of 10 is the simplest form. So if I have one of each, it's kind of like combining like terms. So if I have 1x plus 1x, I have 2 x's. Okay? So for here, I have 2 square root of 10. That's it. When you get to the cube roots, try that in your calculator. Every calculator is done a little different. You may have to Google the directions for that. But the cube root, if you take the factors of 8, you could do that. 2 times 4 prime, 2 times 2. You can try this in your calculator. If it turns out nice, you don't have to do all the factors. So for cube root, you're looking at groups of 3. I can pull one out. So the cube root of 8 is 2. Okay? So same as 28 and 29. You can try those. Now let's go ahead and look at polynomials. When you're adding and subtracting polynomials, what I recommend that you do is to stack like terms. We generally write them with the exponents in descending order. Here they are not right away, so we can rewrite them. So I have negative 4x squared plus 7x minus 19. Now I'm going to take, we're adding, and I'm going to stack these according. So I have a minus 2x squared, make sure you write them correct, plus 3x plus 14. You notice I mark them off as I write them, so I know I've used them. Then we're just going to add them straight down. So negative 4, negative 2 is a negative 6x squared. 7 plus 3 is 10, so plus 10x. Negative 19 and 4 ends up minus 5. Okay. When you subtract, just make sure you organize them and subtract them in order. Okay. And notice that this one has a cubed and a cubed. There's a squared here, not there. So make sure that you know that that's going to be there. You can subtract, or you can change this to a plus, and you change every sign in here to the opposite sign, and that will help you there. Okay, 32. I'm going to multiply binomials. So multiplying binomials, there's 2 terms in each. I'm going to make a 2 by 2 box. Okay, this is the box method. I'm going to put these terms out here, 6k and a negative 5. Put these terms out here, 2k and a negative 3. And then I'm going to multiply them together here. So 6 times 2 is 12. And then k times k is k squared. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. K, don't forget your k. 2 times 5 is 10. It's a negative 10k. Negative 5 times negative 3 is a positive 15. And then you end up adding these two. There's a plus here, so you add these two. So I bring it out. I get 12k squared. Negative 18 and negative 10 is negative 28. So minus 28k. Plus 15. Okay, this is all review from last year, so hopefully it starts to come back to you. 35, I would make if you're doing the box method, I would make a 2 by 3 box. 34, you're going to have to distribute this and do a 2 by 2 box here as you work through it. So you end up with 2 terms that you have to, 2 polynomials you have to subtract, because be careful. Well, if you can add, because you're just distributing the negative 5. Right? I'll go back through and give you all the answers to everything as we go through. Okay, number 36. When I look at number 36 and 37, I'm looking to get stuff that will look the same, is because I'm thinking they're going to want to cancel. So what you're doing here is we're going to ignore the bottom, the 3xy. I'm kind of looking for 3xy. That's what that tells me. But I'm going to look at the top. So I have a 15 and a 6. I know 3 can go into both of those. So I'm going to pull 3 out front. And I know it goes in the first one 5 times. And I know it goes in the second one. I'm going to keep the minus. Minus 2. Then the x's, so if I look at this one, I didn't leave enough room there. I'm sorry, I apologize. Let me try that again. I'm going to back up just a little bit. I just didn't leave enough room. So I know I want a 3 out front because it can go into whatever I put inside. So 5 and a minus 2. Then I'm going to look at the x's. X to the 7, x to the 3rd. Well, I know, I see this here and I'm thinking I need to cancel that. So I'm going to pull just one x out. So then I have 6 left over here, and I have 2 left over here. Then I know I want to pull a y out because my goal is this 3xy here is to cancel them. So then I have a y left over, and I have nothing left over there. So that's it there because I pulled that one y out. Okay. Then I have this left in the bottom, so I can cancel those. So my final answer is going to be 5x to the 6th y minus 2x squared. Okay. So you're looking for number 37 to factor out a negative 2k, and that should help you out there. 38, perimeter, we add up all the sides. So if it's a rectangle, I have 2 lengths plus 2 widths. Area is equal to length times width. That's all I'm going to give you there. Volume of a cubed is going to be the sides cubed. So I'll leave you to that one also. Alright, I'm going to go back and give you answers to everything that I can here. Okay, number 13 is more of a calculator problem. You can factor it, but I would use calculator in 13. And you should get 19. I'm not going to write that down. 15, you're going to need a little work. It's going to be 4 square root of 5. 16, 12 square root of 10. 17 is 9 square root of 3. 18 we did together. 19, 6 square root of 5. 20 ends up 300 by the time it works itself out. Takes a little bit of work there. Make sure you multiply 3 times 5, which is 15, and then when you factor things out, we will end up coming back to radicals. So this is just a quick review, and then we'll use it again later on. 21 is 2 square root of 7. 22 is 12 square root of 2. This, I would combine this and see if you can't simplify it there. 23, you know what, I'm going to do 23 with you here. You cannot leave a square root on the bottom. So you could factor out and it would cancel, but I would, when you have a square root on the bottom, you're going to multiply by that square root on the bottom and the top. You got to multiply by a factor of 1. I didn't change the problem. So what happens here is I get square root of 3 factors of 8 are 2 times 2 times 2 over the square root of 8 times 8. Okay, remember we're going to pull out pairs here. So I end up pulling out 2 square root of 6 all over 8. This does simplify a little bit more. This is not the only way to do this. Well, I know I can take a 2 out of the top and out of the bottom. So I end up with square root of 6 over 4. So there's your answer there. Okay. Back to answers here. Number 25 is 22 square root of 2. 26 is, you want to get them as alike as possible. 2 square root of 7 plus 8, it's a plus sign, 8 square root of 5. 28 is a calculator problem. 29 is a calculator problem, and it's usually, you got to use, there's a button on your calculator that looks like this, or maybe it's X and Y, I'm not sure which way, but you're going to have to use the 3 with that. Sometimes some of you have cubes on your calculator. Feel free to ask. 31 is going to be, make sure you show your work, 10w cubed minus w squared minus 19w plus 27. 33 should be 16x squared minus 1. Again, show your work. Again, this is 2 parts. I would do this and I would do this. That's the second part, and then subtract or to multiply through, however you want to do that. So this should end up 9x squared minus 14x plus 6. And what I did is I took and I did my box with the beginning, multiplied that through, wrote it out over here, and then distributed that, and then just like I did in problem 30 and 31, added them together. 35 is a cubed plus 2a squared minus 22a plus 12. Okay, so again, that's a 2 by 3 since there's 2 pieces here and 3 here. There'll be a and 6, and then a squared minus 4a and a positive 2. And remember, you're going to pull out all the terms and add them together as best you can. There, okay. 37 is negative 4k squared minus 9k plus 1. 38, I'll give you the final. The perimeter is going to be, you got to work them through, 10x minus 12. The area is going to be 6x squared minus 19x minus 7. Volume here is going to be, because you got 3, so I went ahead and I did a box and multiplied 2 of these, and then when I had that answer, I did a 2 by 3 box and multiplied that answer across the top with the x and the negative 5. Okay, so try that out. If you have questions, bring them. But it should turn out to be this. Again, these are all reviews, so be aware that we will use them. We will review them again quickly before our units that we need them in. This is just getting us ready for the year.